Welcome everybody to the Weird Couch. It has been a while. I know. Fucking get off my fucking back. But it's been well worth it because we definitely all needed some time off, right, guys? And let me scoot over to the center here so I can, bam. So today's topic is not as serious as a topic as we, I guess, have been going into. We are all 30 plus years old, and we're males, and we all grew up with male role models, both good and bad in our lives, and so our viewpoints on what it was going to be like when we got to be that age, I think it was structured a certain way. Do you feel like you're 30?
Yeah, feeling like you're 30. Yeah, that's a whole. You mean physically? Because physically, I feel like I'm 60. No.
I was gonna say, yeah. Physically,
but
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, basically the whole gamut.
I think I have perpetual Peter Pan syndrome. I think I'm gonna be like 22 forever. What about you, Kris?
Similar, but I mean, it's one of those things where we have to maintain the habits and patterns and appearance of adulting, but at the same time, when I get home, certainly, I got gym shorts on, the hat goes on. It's almost like living dual lives. Like you go to work and like you're all shirt and tied up, and then you get home and the hat goes on. You're playing video games and
you get to relax and be yourself. No, I don't even play that game when I'm out in public. I'm gonna still be me. I'm just you. Okay, so as a 30-year-old or a 30 plus, right? Y'all ever go grocery shopping and y'all got the shopping cart and y'all jump on the back of the shopping cart and ride it through the parking lot?
All the time, still to this day.
Public or private, I'm going to be me.
Can't not.
Right?
Peter Pan syndrome.
Especially if they look sturdy. If they look sturdy, you gotta try it out.
Right?
Exactly.
Sure.
So as far as feeling like I'm 30 and acting like I'm 30, I don't know. I mean, I probably should grow up one day or another. Maybe when I'm like 75.
Possibly.
And we're all of us coming up on birthdays here really soon, aren't we?
Oh my God. I really want to keep my glasses on, and I hate this glare. I love this ring, but I hate this glare.
Ooh.
Shoot. EQs is in like a week. Probably by the time this posts, it'll be like
the big 3-2, man.
Okay, anybody have a change in eyesight growing up? Or is everyone always wearing glasses?
No, basically...
I've always worn glasses.
I haven't always worn glasses. I probably should have when I was younger, maybe. But I didn't start wearing glasses until after I got out of the Army. And it's only astigmatism. Even, like, this new prescription is a little bit more than my last one, but it's still just astigmatism.
So only in just those are words to kind of demean what you have. Astigmatism, and I'm not trying to sound like I know a lot about eyeballs, but my understanding is that it's a complete misshapening of the eye. People's eyes typically are round, like completely spherical.
Fucked up eyes.
And
he did.
I have it too. No, I know this. I know this because I have it too.
Okay.
I know this because I have it too. It's because your eye is like oblong in one direction.
You guys hear that?
And so
even my eyes are weird.
So it sends like, so if you look at it like the lens of a camera, if you were to take part of the lens and like move it away, everything would be out of focus. And so it's not like a nearsighted or a farsightedness. People ask me all the time, "Are you nearsighted or farsighted?" I'm like, I'm nothing sighted. Like I can't see shit.
Just blind, old and blind. That's what we are. Because I have contact lenses. Yeah. We all wear glasses. Obviously, I've been wearing glasses since I was like 4 or 5. But my eyeball is too long, and I can't get the LASIK or PRK because of it. Anyway, back to the age thing. I don't know if that's an actual age thing, but I have to watch out for glaucoma now. That's an age thing. They always told me I might be at
risk for
glaucoma. Yeah. I'm old.
I'm doing some preventative glaucoma treatment.
I think we all are. I mean, who doesn't partake?
No, not me. Not me. I can't.
Okay.
I won't.
Yeah,
it's not me.
Yeah, you can't.
Love the state of Washington.
So there's a lot of people doing that preventative glaucoma treatment.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no, and to kind of wrap up the question, physically, I feel, well, I think there's good days and bad days. Mostly though, I feel pretty good. I mean, I'm definitely like the strongest I've ever been. And prior to injuring my ankle earlier this year, I was getting to feeling like a kid again when I was racing my bicycles, and so I mean, physically I feel pretty good. Still, shoulders and knees hurt, right? Things like that you never really see coming until EQ got hurt wrist.
Got that angry face like
fish oil.
Yeah,
fish oil.
I got okay. So the thing that I never thought of growing up, or even thought about, but people always talked about, like when you're falling asleep, when you're younger, you sleep on the floor or wherever, and your parents or older people are like, "You're going to regret that. Wait till you get older. Wait till you get older." Yeah, ain't no way in the world you would catch me sleeping on a floor, on a rock, anywhere where I used to be able to sleep. So that has changed. And in the morning, I am a little slower than I used to be.
I've been sleeping on basically the floor the last 3 years. Little folded up foam rolls, wrapped in a blanket and everything like that. And that's probably not really good for me, for the alignment of my back and how I sleep and shit. But do you guys watch How I Met Your Mother?
Never seen it.
You guys never?
I've seen a handful of episodes. I've seen a handful.
Okay, seriously, I know you guys don't watch as much TV and movies as I do, but How I Met Your Mother, you should definitely watch. It's like 9 seasons. You should definitely watch it. It is fucking hilarious. Barney Stinson is freaking amazing. But there was he likes to take bets, right? And he came up with the bro code and all this other shit, and like a giant book. And he actually wrote it, like, what's his face? What's the actor's name?
Is this the character that?
Doogie Howser. What is his name?
What's that? What
is his name? Golly, everyone knows his name, and then when you want to know it, you can't remember it. See, this is old people.
This is old people.
This is after 30. You can't remember shit.
I will find.
Or it's the preventative glaucoma maintenance.
Well, I'm on that preventative glaucoma maintenance right now, although it is in the air.
I'll find his name instead of Barney Stinson, and it was almost there.
We don't have to hang out.
But anyways, in the TV show, right? They have what he calls the Murtaugh list. There was this bet because he turned 30, and they're getting older, and it's a great progression of like time throughout the 9 seasons of them going from being roommates and being friends, and then relationships, and then marriages, and then moving out, and moving here, and having kids and shit like that. Like it's a great progression, and I think it is a good show for people to watch it within our age group. So this bet was like, he was like, let's go out and party. And the statement was made like, I'm too old for this shit. Like Murtaugh on Lethal Weapon, right? Yeah. And so he was like, and Barney Stinson's thing was like accepting a challenge. That's where that whole challenge accepted like came from. The meme and stuff is from the show. And somebody said some shit like that. And he was like, challenge accepted. And then they made the Murtaugh list. And it was things that they used to be able to do in their 20s that they were going to attempt to do in their 30s, and if they could not do it, they would cross it off and they would never do it again, right? Okay. One of those things was sleeping on your friend's futon. Basically futons are the most uncomfortable fucking things ever.
Yes, they are.
And Barney was like, I'm going to go, and because he didn't, basically, and the serious portion of this entire conversation is, nobody wants to get older because that just means you're that much closer to death. And the idea of dying, it sucks balls. And so he did not want to face his mortality. And so the idea of accepting that he was too old to do certain things was a reminder of his mortality and that he was getting that much closer to death. That was like the underlining thing that I got. That's a real, that's a true statement. And I think part of our generation and you guys, and this is a question as well, is that we view death a lot differently than our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents. At least as far as we know through history, it wasn't something that necessarily was talked about day to day. People were the term, I guess, more hardy. And it was like, hey, if I'm going to die, then so be it. I'm going to continue doing this. And it was just very emotionless, you know. Whereas nowadays, because of how open people are and everything like that, and I don't like overly sensitive people, but I do embrace the, being more in touch with your emotions as a man and being able to express yourself and all that stuff without having to be judged or ridiculed. So now it's kind of like, fuck, death. I don't want to face it, Deployment, I was all for it. Like, I didn't give a shit, Like, my brain was like, if I die today, whew. The question after that long-ass statement, sorry, is, with being 30, does it bother you? Does your mortality bother you?
Kris?
Yeah, I'll say definitely. It's real. Like, it's even anxiety-stricken, I'll tell you, just to kind of, to admit completely. There will be times where I'll be hanging out, being completely content, and then sometimes it's like you stop to take a moment to appreciate the moment that you're in and what you're experiencing, and then that train of thought leads you to kind of like it kind of sucks that this is all temporary. And, or, you get into moments where you're hanging out with people and you're like, this might be the last time we ever have this opportunity, like those kinds of thoughts. Like I said, it's anxiety stricken for sure. But, I don't know. I think we just got to do everything we can to keep busy, keep our minds busy, stay productive. It's an inevitability, so I don't want to tell myself a story or tell myself, anything to make it seem like it's not significant, because it's the second most significant thing that happens to you aside from birth. And so to pretend that it's not significant is ignorant. So it's just one of those things. I'm one of those humans that I believe that a lot of life is dealing with pain, and a lot of life is dealing with those kinds of things, and it adds kind of a beautiful aesthetic. Art itself doesn't come from like all beautiful notions, right? Even the most beautiful expressions of our human existence, come from these places. And so, like I said, it's just one of those facts of life. It's an inevitability, but you have to find a healthy way to cope, I guess is what I'm getting at.
There you go, definitely.
Well,
Joe?
My thing is, I guess around the age of 30, everyone says there's a light bulb that comes on, and you do start contemplating your own mortality and when you're going to die. I mean, when you're younger, you're sitting there, and life is just going. It's just, and you don't really stop, although I did when I was a little younger, to stop and smell the roses. I guess I do it a lot more now and live in the moment, because like Kris said, it's not really, you never know what's going to happen or if it'll ever happen again. You might be hanging out with your friends one day, and then the next day that friend is gone. So I think you appreciate it more, and you appreciate the moments more when you're in your 30s versus when we're younger and just going and partying and acting a fool and enjoying life. You don't really think about it. You didn't really think about it. I didn't really think about it when I was that young. I mean, I'm going to die one day, but that one day in my head was way out there. But I'm going to die one day. It can still be way out there, but I'm closer to it now. So, yeah, a little bit of anxiety when it comes to that. But, I mean, even now that I have a child or children, it's kind of like I don't want to leave before they do, or I want to see them grow up and progress and do whatever. So I guess, yeah, the age 30 hit me hard. And, I stop and slow roll this down.
Yeah.
So, I want to add on to that. Along with the whole, becoming 30 and coming to those kinds of realizations, and also learning what your own physical limitations are becoming. I think along with that, because I got back into racing bicycles a handful of years ago, and I've been doing it off and on. Lately, mostly off. But you learn about like how resilient the human body is. Just about every time I crash, I hurt myself in some form or fashion. But the thing is though, I always heal and I always come back. And, sometimes it takes, to learn about yourself, to kind of appreciate that our bodies are just incredible machines. And so, yeah, so that's the other thing is like having a healthy appreciation and healthy respect. Sorry, I had a fly.
Stupid fly.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, just having a healthy respect for what our bodies are capable of, because it is pretty cool. Because like I was saying earlier, I had an ankle injury and I couldn't do anything. It was not quite bad enough to require surgery, but I was still like on crutches for a long period of time. They put me on one of those big soft boots and all that good stuff. So it's been like, what I do was like May, so June, July, August, October, so 5 months ago, and I'm just now able. I think today it was the first time I was able to sprint my bicycle up and down the street here,
nice,
pain free.
and
it still hurts. I can't really do anything dynamic yet. I got the urge to try and like jog the other day.
No.
That's not going down yet, but again, like I said, you learn to appreciate what you're capable of. And so anyhow, that's just another thing, because like I feel like when you're 20 and like in your teenage years, you kind of take that for granted. I've been beating myself up for a long time playing football, racing bicycles. Like I've had so many collisions with other larger human beings on the ground for so long now. And so you used to be able to pop right back up and keep going, so you take it all for granted. Now it's like you got to calculate the risk.
You know what I appreciate about being older? I really appreciate the progression of I'm not who I was when I was back then. The mentality, the actual maturity, and people see it as, I guess the young people see it as we are old. I know we saw it as, what, that person's 30, they're old when we were that young. So, it's not really a bad thing.
But I do have to say,
I enjoy being,
Sorry, I cut you off. My bad. I was just going to say, when you said people look at you when you're 30, you're like, wow, that's old. But I did have a cute girl at a restaurant last week tell me I looked like I was 23. So, winning,
whatever. That's like somebody else I know who looks like they're daggum 17 and is 30. That can't hear
you
me.
act like you're complaining about that.
I know, right? I'm not going to say that.
Not complaining.
Hey, I'm going to be young forever. I'll be old as fuck. I still get to die young.
Like, so there's that thing is you have...
My last name. You guys aren't getting it.
Yes.
I got it, but I didn't think that was where you were going with it.
That it really was. I was going for the
dad joke. Oh, the dad joke. We all have...
Yeah. But no, and especially in today's society, there's a lot of pressure, not just from internally from our point of views, but externally, with women, or, if you're gay, bisexual, transgender, non-identifiable to, I don't know the term for that one, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever it is, there's
inclusive term,
there's pressure from all those angles to, I guess, have externally be mature, and there's a viewpoint on what maturity is and what it means. And at the same time, now this is a lot less important in certain aspects than the changes that needs to happen politically and religiously and spiritually, and as society goes with other things. But I think the idea that when people look at you and go, you're not a man unless you're wearing a suit and you're clean cut, and you're in this box. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've run into it. I don't know if you guys ran into it before you found your significant others, but then you walk around and you got, a printed tee on and some jeans and shit, and like, oh, he's not grown up. He's immature and does not, take care of his business. And you have guys that are immature as fuck, but they're like, I'm going to put on the front, and they're like, oh, yeah, I've got a nice ass suit, yada, yada, and they just walk around, but as soon as they open their mouth, go, that motherfucker's dumb as shit. He's immature. He's really immature. And I think the idea that the clothes make the man, it's changing. It has been changing for a while, and the man makes the clothes. Okay, final question. I guess you can say it's probably about a two-parter, but you know how they'll ask, if you could talk to your younger self, what kind of advice would you give your younger self? They always, they go to the past, right? My question is, what advice would you give your future self? Do you think it is too late at 30 to reimagine yourself and your life?
Second part of that question, no. Because we can always reinvent ourselves, in my opinion. I mean, we're just a dynamic self. I mean, at one point in my life, well, the parts that are always, I'm a son, I'm a father, but there are other parts of myself that are constantly changing. I will not be a student. My profession has changed from being in the military to now the medical profession. So, I mean, you can always reinvent yourself and always change. And am I giving advice to my younger self or older self?
Your older self, so your future self.
My older self. My older self. Dude, you have become a cynic and an asshole. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Calm the fuck down.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Kris?
All right. Well, I think anybody that wants to refine themselves should constantly reassess. So we should always take a step back and look at who we are, what we're doing, what our goals are, and then redirect, correct course if you have to. So in that sense, I feel like you kind of constantly have to be in a process of reinvention. And then as for advice for myself, I don't want to look into the camera directly like Joe did. That was good for a dramatic effect. I dug that. But really, my thing is because of my personal history and my upbringing and where I come from, both in location and in my family. There were certain things in life I was told that I wouldn't be able to do or that I wouldn't have access to as an adult. Because of that, instead of like tapping out in life, I've decided to kind of harness my anger or my negative emotion towards those things and climb the ladder. So right now I've done a really good job, I feel, of putting myself in a unique position that people with my upbringing don't typically have the opportunity. So what I want to say to my future self is that no matter how far you've come, no matter how high up the ladder you've been able to climb, remember where you come from. Remember the reasons why you got into this. Remember that the goal was to prove people wrong, not to step on people. And now that you are where you want to be, use your influence to help other individuals like you. So that's
outstanding.
Oh! Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
I have to add. Hey, future self, listen to Kris. Hey, take his advice.
Nice.
Take his advice. All right.
As for me, as for the future EQ, listen to Joe, listen to Kris. Wonderful, intelligent advice. Personally, to you, I want to say this. It doesn't matter what has happened from this point to my future self where you're at right now. All that doesn't matter. All that matters is, have you found yourself and what that means to you? Because no matter what relationship you're in, marriage, kids, work, friends, anything like that, at the end of life, knowing who you are and being self-aware, I believe, is the most important. And if you've lost your way, you need to find your way back. Because if you don't know who you are, you cannot continue to help others find out who they are. And then the second question was what again? I completely forgot.
Oh, about self-invention, reinvention.
Self-invention. I started reinventing myself 6 years ago. I started this whole thing of each year I was going to have something different, like a challenge, a goal I wanted to meet. And I did not start these things on New Year's because that's, in my mind, that was bullshit. So I picked arbitrary days.
Not a resolution.
Throughout the year. A what?
So you're not a resolutioner.
No, yeah, not a resolutioner on New Year's. I would sit there and be like, oh, it's freaking, March 22nd, so I think I want to do this. And so I would go a year and I would create these goals, a long-term goal kind of deal. 1 year it was I'm not having sex. I was celibate for an entire year, no matter how many times I could have had sex. 1 year I grew my beard, and then 1 year I went without dating somebody seriously or having a girlfriend. I was basically teaching myself how to play the field, I guess. There was a year where I wrote a whole bunch of stuff. So I've been doing it for a really long time. And then this year, I started on December 23rd, a little too close to New Year's resolution. But the idea of starting YouTube, and I told myself if I was doing YouTube in a year, like I did it for an entire year, and I still enjoyed it as much as I did the first month that I was doing it, that I found not only the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life as a job, but myself externally. So thank you guys for watching. Seriously appreciate it. 102 subscribers. But we hit 100 subscribers a couple days ago. And so there's going to be a 100 sub video coming soon to thank all of you for your support and love and understanding. So, as always, it's EQ, Joe, and Kris here on the Weird Couch. Stay weird.